What a classic intro this is. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the empty Encore parking garage. Here we are, February 25th. It's a Tuesday afternoon around 2 p.m. and we're hopping into the 1-3 games. Going to be seeing how this goes today. February 25th right now, so I'm probably gonna be posting this early March. So if I haven't already announced it, I probably have. I've got some meetup games coming up soon. March 14th is the charity tournament, sort of meetup event and tournament that I'm going to be playing. It's for a great cause. It's a $100 tournament on March 14th. Click the link down below if you want more information about that. Secondly, the following Saturday as well, March 21st, I'll be hosting a meetup game at Boston Billiards in Nashua, New Hampshire. So if you're around the North Shore of Massachusetts or from the area, definitely please do come by. We're going to be playing a 1-3 game and it'll be super fun. Starts at 3 p.m. as well. So definitely come there. Official first meetup game ever. So definitely looking forward to seeing a bunch of you guys there and would love to play against you guys. It should be a great time as well. Food, drinks, they all that good stuff there at Boston Billiards. So without further ado, let's get into this session, get in some of the hands and see how it goes.
Trying out this new camera angle, let me know what you guys think. I'm just experimenting, but this could be awful, this could look decent. Just let me know in the comments below, but we'll get into the hands. So the first hand that we're gonna go over, I have the premium Queen 5 of clubs in the cutoff, facing an under the gun player who opens it up to $12, an early position player who has a fairly wide range, I think. He played a hand where I raised pre-flop to $20 and called with King 7 of hearts and won that hand, but he makes the call, this early position player, and then another very aggressive player also calls. And here in the cutoff, I go ahead and just decide to make the call as well. Really wide range. Obviously not recommended against an under the gun open, but we're playing this hand. Let's see a flop 4 ways. I'm in position at least. The flop comes 7, 5, 3, 2 diamonds out there. So actually flopping middle pair and better enough, action checks to us. I can definitely comfortably bet here now after the action checks to us. So with middle pair, we bet $20 and we get 2 callers, the early position player and the aggressive middle position player. So the under the gun pre-flop raiser folds. So off to a turn 3 ways. Turn comes the ace of clubs. Action checks to me here, sitting with third pair now. Definitely going to be pot controlling in position. Let's just check it back and we're off to a river. River is a 9 of spades. The early position player, the early position player checks, and the middle position player now jams his entire stack in for $65 total. And I have a decision to make. Am I really going to be hero calling this with third pair? Very unlikely, it seems like. But when I look over at the early position player, he is clearly disinterested from this hand. He's just not paying any attention. He looks at his cards and it looks like he's going to be folding. So after noticing that, I'm probably going to be the only person making this call here. And what does this line rep? This line could definitely be an ace high flush draw that checked on the turn, but I don't think this 9 changes a whole lot here. So realistically, only on a busted flush draw or a busted flush draw with an ace, I go ahead and just make the call. I've seen this player try to bluff a lot, so I call with a pair of 5s. He shows us King 4 of hearts for a gut shot straight draw on the flop, turned it into a bluff on the river there. So we make the call, we take it down, and first hand is going okay. Following hand, we have Queen 10 offsuit in the hijack. I raise it up to $15, very loose raise, but I'm going to making this raise on this specific table. In the hijack to $15. On this fairly passive table, 3 players make the call. So let's go 4 ways to a flop, which comes Queen Jack 5. Here, I wasn't actually paying any attention. Unfortunately, I was just typing up the notes from the earlier hand or whatever it was. I only thought that we were taking it 3 ways, so I go ahead and bet $20 when I thought the pot was $45. Obviously, pretty small bet here. And only the big blind, who I didn't even know was in the hand, makes the call. So the other players fold, the big blind calls, and it makes sense now because, well, I bet 1/3 pot because we actually took this 4 ways, and I didn't know this at the time. But we're off to a turn, heads up, we're in position here. The turn comes the 10 of clubs, which brings in a backdoor flush draw. Also, we improve to 2 pair, which is nice for us. He checks to us, and here definitely going to be betting all the time. So I just go with another small sizing of $40. He's pretty short stacked with about $140 behind at this point and makes the call. He's a pretty short stack, has about $180 behind at this point, and he makes the call. Off to a river. River comes a 6. Doesn't change a whole lot here. Still sitting with 2 pair. He checks and got to go for 3 streets of value here, so I choose a sizing of $75, not trying to commit his entire stack, but at least half of his stack, and he thanks, hums and haws, and ends up making the call. So expecting to be good here a lot of the time when he doesn't snap call or jam here, so I show and we are good. Next spot we're involved in, we have ace 10 of spades in early position with an under the gun straddle out there. I go ahead and open up the action to $20 and we get 2 callers, the big blind and the under the gun straddler, so found ourselves in position here surprisingly. Off to a flop. Flop comes 6-4 deuce rainbow. The under the gun player donk leads $25. He is a pretty short stack actually. Assuming ace 10 high can be ahead of a lot of his donk leading ranges, so it could be a lot of draws, could be a lot of backdoor stuff. Not entirely sure what that hand could be, but I call with ace high and the big blind calls as well. When the big blind calls, I'm not really feeling great about it because he is a much tighter and much more passive player. Not really going to be calling without a really good hand here, so we definitely have to improve. The turn comes the 10 of hearts, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and now we're sitting with top. The under the gun player once again leads out for $25 with only $50 behind, give or take. So here sitting with top pair, top kicker, definitely trying to isolate the short stack and raise it up here to $105. Big blind tanks, he tanks for a while. As an older gentleman, this can't be good if he does make the call. Feeling like I'm beat here if he does call this $105, which of course he does end up making the call for $105, and the short stack under the gun player folds. So we isolated the wrong player and we're off to a river. Not feeling good about our pair of 10s right now. The river comes the queen of diamonds. He checks to us and here not really doing anything but just checking it back. He shows pocket 4s and as expected, him calling off my $105 bet means that he had a pretty strong hand. So really just valued ourselves in this spot where I probably could have just folded the flop. But next interesting spot after that, we have queen jack offsuit in the cutoff and it's a multi-way limped pot. That's really all I can say. Few limpers to us, queen jack offsuit, didn't want to fold, didn't want to raise, so we limped. So we're going to a flop multi-way. Flop comes king, queen, jack, 2 diamonds out there. Really wet, really connected board, and we flop bottom 2. The under the gun player who limped bets $10. An early position player makes the call, and here definitely going to be raising in this spot. My hand is really strong, and there's a ton of draws out there, so I decide to raise to $40. The under the gun player who limped and called the $10 folds, and the early position player, this is the same older gentleman from last hand, that makes the call. So we know he's got to have a pretty strong hand at this point. Not sure how strong, but we still feel pretty decent about our hands. So we're off to a turn. Turn comes the deuce of clubs. It's a complete brick, and he checks to us. Sitting with bottom 2 pair, we still think we can bet for value, so I go with the sizing of $65. A smaller sizing than I would have liked to have bet, but he plays such strong hands, and when he called my raise, he's got to be at the top of his range, it seems like, or has a monster draw. So not really sure, but I knew I had to bet something. I chose a sizing of $65. He thinks about it and makes the call, which is good and bad. I'm not really sure where I'm at still, to be honest, but we want to see a pretty brick river. So the river comes the 5 of diamonds. The diamond draw gets there, and once again, he checks. I can be beat by a lot of flop straights that he could have. I don't think he really has a flush too often drawing like this, but he definitely could have some flushes out there. Here on the river, not really sure what kind of hands I can get value from that can call a river bet. Maybe king X, king ace king, king 10. I'm not even sure if he has king 10 in the spot, but I go ahead and just check it back. He shows a hand that we beat, pocket aces. He limped pocket aces. This was a limped pot, and that is just the dynamics of what this table is like with this specific player. Hand after that, we pick up ace king offsuit in under the gun. I open it up to $15. We get 3 callers, so let's go to a flop 4 ways. Pretty standard stuff. Flop comes jack 10-5, 2 diamonds out there. Here with 2 overs and a gutter ball, I'm not really going to be c-betting this in a field of 3 other players. So when I check, action checks all the way around. So we get to see a free turn card, which is nice. The turn comes another 5. And once again, the action checks to me. I go ahead and try to bet tiny for value and also as a stab. I think hands like 8s or 7s or 6s would have to fold to this bet. So it's a kind of like a value slash stab bet. I don't really know, but I bet $20 here, and we get 2 callers in middle position and the big blind, so we're definitely behind here in the spot with ace-king high, but let's see if we can improve. The river is exactly what we're looking for. It's a queen sitting here with Broadway, rivering the straight. Better news than that, the big blind actually leads out into us for $60. He only has about $160 behind in his stack, and the middle position player covers us. So here, definitely trying to get a lot of the money in now when we do hit our straight. I go ahead and raise things up to $200. The middle position player tanks for at least a minute and ends up folding. So really interesting there. Didn't think that he would have too strong of a hand on this river, on this run out as well. But he folds. The big blind thinks about it and calls. So for $160 total. We show our hand. We're good a lot of the time. He shows us pocket queens for a boat. Wow. Didn't see any of this coming ever, but the big blind had it. He flat called my raise pre-flop, then checked it twice on the flop and turn, and we lose that one. Last hand of this video, last hand of this session, we have ace-king offsuit once again in the cutoff. An early position player opens it up to $12. After playing with him for a little bit, I can see he's a pretty good reg here at this casino. So here, I'm going to be 3-betting to $40, still in position and a pretty strong hand, but I know that his early position opening range is going to be a little more narrow than the normal, typical 1-3 player. I 3-bet to $40, and he decides to snap call. Heads up to a flop, which comes queen 10-7, 2 diamonds out there. Action checks to me. Here, I very much could c-bet this board, but I think that this queen high board can definitely smash the early position pre-flop raising range a ton here. And here, sitting with ace king high, decent amount of showdown value to see a free turn. So I go ahead and just check it back. Turn comes the 4 of diamonds, which is pretty interesting as we do improve to a king high flush draw along with our gutter ball and along with our 2 overs. He throws out a really small down bet of $30. My stack is really small here, sitting with about $200-ish or less than $200. So I thought about jamming and ripping it in to just try to maximize fold equity, especially with the monster draw that we have. Also feeling a little tilted from the last ace-king hand. I thought about it for a long time, but at the end of the day, I ended up choosing to just flat call this. Realize my equity since I have the entire world on the river here. So trying to improve, I just call and we're off to a river. The river is the king of hearts, and here now he leads out for $100. Rivered a king, rivered top pair and top kicker, but this action and this line and the sizing that he chose doesn't really seem like it's a hand that we can beat here with ace king. Obviously, it's a pretty decent river for us as we improve, but I feel like I'm just bluff catching at best right now, and I can't really beat a whole lot of hands that are going to be betting for value here, as any queen's going to be slowing down a lot of the time. So here, I think about it and fold. He later tells me that he definitely had us beat, so nice hand, Sonny. He watches the channel, so huge shout out to you.
Tilt City, that's where I'm at. Just super tilted. Didn't play for too long today. Played for about 3 hours. And yeah, I don't even know what it is. I just didn't run great. That ace-king hand really hurt because I just at the time, I didn't even notice that the board was paired. Didn't put him on a boat, obviously. Why would he ever have queens or jacks and didn't 3-bet or didn't do any, I don't know why. Why did the action check all the way through and it just kept checking to the river there? So I don't know. Tilt City, that's where I'm at, and I got out of there. Played for 3 hours. I was in the game for $420. Out of the game for $140, $147. Whatever the screenshot there is up to my left or right. But yeah, that's how the session went. I'm not happy with it. I got really bored and I just left because I'm hungry. I really want to get some Chipotle, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some comfort food. Chipotle is literally all I eat if I wanted to feel better about myself, so that's what we're doing. So shout out to them for making some bomb burrito bowls and stuff, but besides that, that's the video. I'm not happy with it, but if you want to play with me and win some money off of me, come to that meetup game in Boston Billiards. It'll be a fun time. But besides that, signing off for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And smash that like button if you like the video. If you're already here, just please do that. It really helps out with growing the channel. And if you want more updates and stuff about what I'm doing, follow me on Instagram. That's always a good time. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.